Loropetalum. Got one in the front yard that's really large. This one here I keep down. It probably got up 5 or 6 feet last year. I cut it down over the winter, and look at that awesome bloom they have. Loving that plant. Oh, keep in mind, cold, windy conditions, they will get burnt up a little bit. Let's see here. This is called a chorus sweet flag. Actually can live in really wet conditions. If you got a wet condition, that'd be great. That sucker there is actually in the water here, bare root, and I've gone through and thinned them out before, but evergreen, very cool plant. Let's see here, and I got a hibiscus actually growing out of that thing. I'm not cutting it out. I love it. That thing blooms late in the summer with a big tropical blossom. Gotta love that. Let's see here. Knockout rose. That was about 5 or 6 feet, and I cut it way down. It's flushing out. Gonna have great blooms on it. Over here is a Russian sage. Time to cut your perennials back now if you haven't done so yet. I guess by the book, technically, in colder climates, leaving them until the spring, because the foliage, dead foliage, acts as some winter interest, but also as its own protection, kind of like a mulch effect. But I usually cut them down around here when I feel like it, when I get to it. Let's see, over here, grasses, same thing. That's a variegated adagio, I believe, and adagio. And that is coming back up, looking good. You want to cut that down to about somewhere between about calf high, I would say. You don't want to get into what they call the crown. Could cause damage. I've not found that with any of the grasses I've cut down. Let's see, here's a daylily coming up, and a Procumbens nana juniper. If you're going to plant a juniper, that's a pretty cool one to plant. People do bonsais out of those as well. Here's a bird's nest spruce. That was been here at least 12, 15 years, who knows. But anyway, it is a low dwarf, slow grower. And if you look really close, the new foliage is just popping out. I mean, we're talking 3 or 4 weeks ahead of schedule. But anyway, I'm not so worried about it. It'll be fine. And let's go up here to it, and there's another, what are the things called? Another bird's nest spruce. It's much slower. And then a little crepe myrtle that I planted as a little tiny one little twig, but had it pruned up really good. Some people might call that crepe murder, but whatever. I need to get that sucker off the house and thinned out a little bit, and it'll still look awesome come summertime. And that's really about it. Oh, there's a daylily I transplanted last weekend over to this area here. Kind of make this area a little bit nicer looking. And that's really about it. Let's look down the road here. That's a purple leaf plum. Has a maroon foliage, gorgeous blossom a couple weeks ago. However, it does get some sort of a disease like a gall on it, and a lot of those plants struggle and die, but I've not looked at that one in a while to see if it has any problems. That's really about it for this. Let's finish up on a super positive note. I believe we're saying candy apple.